Good morning. This is going to be a lesson on Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes. Let's dive in. So, James Mercer Langston Hughes was born February 1st, 1901, and passed away on May 22nd, 1967. He was an American poet, social activist, a novelist, a playwright, and a columnist from Joplin, Missouri. One of the earliest innovators of the then new literary art form called jazz poetry, Hughes is best known as a leader of the Harlem Renaissance. So if you're watching this video, it means that you've already done this activity here. So I'm just going to read through it. So as a warm-up, I'm going to be asking you to think of the last kind thing they did for someone else. Explain that the kind act might be very simple, such as opening the door for someone, or something more time-consuming, such as volunteering at a local soup kitchen. Ask students to explain what they did and who they did it for in a paragraph or less. Once students have had a few minutes to compose your thoughts, we can have a discussion of the following. We might be able to have a discussion on the following, but we'll see if there's time to meet up in teams. We can discuss this maybe after the story, but why do we choose to do kind things or say kind things to others? What is the effect on other people? What is the effect on you? When you do kind things, do you find that you are typically doing them for people you know or strangers? Would you do something kind for someone you don't know? I could say as Canadians, this is probably true. I always find myself holding the door for people. If you're going into the bank or going into the mall or something, you see someone behind you, you hold the door for them. That's what we do as Canadians. We're polite people, especially in the wintertime when it's like snowing like crazy and it's freezing cold and you run into the door and then there's someone right there behind you. I usually, open up the door, let that person go in first. And, most people are pretty polite about it. Oh, thank you so much. I think we are, as a nation, very polite, kind, and caring people. So what is our responsibility as members of a community to help our fellow community members, whether we know them or not? All right. So during reading, I'm going to be uploading a PDF of the text of the story as well as an audio recording. The first little bit's going to run much the same as Lamb to the Slaughter in that you're going to be watching. It's a much shorter video. It's not like 30 minutes long, but a little video on Thank You Ma'am. And I just want you to compare and contrast. The reason I want you to watch these videos is, not everyone learns the same. Some people learn best by literally just reading through the text, not having it read to them. Some people might learn better by listening to the audio recording of someone narrating the story to them while following along on the paper that I provide, or the PDF version of it. And some people learn better by seeing things. And so that's why I'm giving you all these different options for getting the point of the story, the general themes, the setting, all those things that we talked about with short stories, conflicts, and the narration and everything. You're still going to get all that same stuff no matter how you intake the story. So, got quite a long... I'm going to also do the reading view here. Quite a long worksheet here, which is okay. It's going to cover a lot of the things from our short story PowerPoint on the elements and such. So, after reading the text, you're going to complete these questions in full sentence. This is English. Your answers need to be in full sentences. So what does the woman do to the boy after he tries to steal her purse? Pretty simple. These questions are all relatively easy. Explain what you think the woman means when she tells the boy, when I get through with you, sir, you're going to remember Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. What can you conclude from the details provided about Roger's home life? So inference, that means to make an educated guess as to what you think. So if I was going to make an inference on Roger's home life, I'm going to use some of the details and information I'm given from the story to make an educated guess. Well, I don't think his home life is too good the way that he is describing it. That is an inference. You're kind of guessing as to what is going to happen or what is happening at home. So these are some crucial tools. Inferencing is a good thing to know and learn as we get more into English class. Why doesn't Roger run out of the room when he has the chance? Why does Mrs. Jones tell Roger about the things she wanted but could not get? Mrs. Jones leaves her purse unattended and goes into the other room. Why? Why does Roger slide over so she can see him from the other room? These are some of these questions. You're going to have to use your inferencing skills. Explain the phrase, because shoes come by devilish... I think there's supposed to be a ways there. Because shoes come by devilish ways like that will burn your feet. I will fix that. The last paragraph begins with, the boy wanted to say something else, but couldn't do it. What else do you think he would have liked to have been able to say to her besides, thank you, ma'am? Also, inference, reading beyond the story. These are all questions that are applicable to the curriculum in that they are covering the concepts of the curriculum and how you are relating yourself to the story and relating the story to other things. So, here we get into some of the short story elements in that you are describing the setting of the story. Setting is the time and place that a story is happening. So we get time, place. Identify one kind of conflict and explain the opposing forces are. So person versus what? You can refer back to your PowerPoint worksheet that we did. Remember I told you that you would be using this for working through the short stories later on. So you can go back and look up what the different types of conflict are and give an explanation. Next, it says to plot the sentences on the plot graph in the order that they occur in the story. So you don't really need to, I don't want you to like try and copy this and put it up here and put this over here. You can just, when you're answering, you can just say, okay, A, the woman gives the boy $10 to buy some shoes and sends him away. That sounds like it is in the resolution conclusion, so you can just put A, you can put it beside here, and just type in resolution, maybe bold it so it stands out for me, or just answer it completely, like underneath here, start a new line. Say A, resolution. B, a large woman is walking alone at 11 p.m. at night. Well, that sounds like the introduction here. So I would put B, introduction, or down here, B, introduction. Okay, now we're going to look at characterization. Provide 2 adjectives. Those were from your English quiz. You had to define some words. Adjectives are descriptive words. Words to describe the kind of person Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones is. So adjectives. How do you know this? Adjective. How do you know this? Sorry, just got to turn the lights back on. Do a funky dance. There we go. So you got room to write one adjective here in your explanation of why you think this is. Maybe I'm going to give you an example here. So maybe you are providing the adjective of kind for Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. Well, how do you know that she's kind? So give some examples from the story. Well, she doesn't turn, I can't remember the main character's name. She doesn't turn the boy that tries this Roger. She doesn't turn Roger into the police. Rather, she takes him home for dinner. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's a good explanation. It's right from the story. So you need 2 of those. Theme. In a few sentences, explain what you think the main idea or lesson is in the story. So what is Langston Hughes trying to put across to us? What kind of message is he trying to give to the readers? I don't know why all these pages are blank. Okay, I'm going to go back to see if we're missing something here. Well, it looks like that is it for this lesson. So I'm going to go over some more things in teams with you all, but for now, here's your lesson for Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes. In this lesson, we're going to be focusing on looking at some of the short story elements like characterization, theme, setting, and your general comprehension and understanding. And also working on your inferencing skills, which is very important in English. So, enjoy the story. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Enjoy the story.